But going back to that Science of Sex documentary, they did this thing where they had women look at a bunch of pictures of men and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of physical attractiveness. And of course, there's a guy who's like tall, chiseled, smiling, tall, dark, and handsome, all that. And they're like, his score was like 9.2 or some ridiculously high number. There's another guy who was short, frumpy, balding, chubby, and he got a 4. Here's the crazy thing. They went out, took these pictures and showed them to people and said, what number would you give this guy? And most of the people on the street gave the same numbers. Short, frumpy guy, 4. Tall, dark, and handsome, 9. Then something interesting. They added a bio to the side of the photographs. Tall, dark, and handsome. Guess what? Mid-30s and worked at a movie theater. Short and frumpy, computer programmer making $500,000 a year. Movie theater guy, 30. What happened? Tall, dark, and handsome, when they said, how would you rate this guy on his attractiveness on a scale of 1 to 10? And they saw his bio and his job, the women said 7. Now what about frumpy guy? 7. No kidding. The perception of beauty was heavily influenced by their social status, job title, and cash money. That's the difference between men and women.
What Tim fails to understand about that test, even though yes, the ugly guy making more money kind of equalizes it with the attractive guy, but that guy won't be getting that girl till she's in her early 30s or has some Chad's kid and then brings him over to that relationship. And at best, that girl might be dating that guy, but she'll still be getting plowed out by that Chad on the side. Just because the ugly guy had metaphorical leg lengthening surgery doesn't mean it could completely make up for having natural talent, or in this case, natural good looks. But bottom line, having money kind of makes it a false equalizer, because she's not attracted to you. She's attracted to your money, and as soon as that goes, or she figures out a way to take it from you, she's gone, most likely to the Chad that you thought you got her from. What I really think Tim's problem with this subject is he still thinks too rationally about it. Like, do this equal that. Just because the guy got more money doesn't mean he got more attractive. Really, that test just shows that they view $500K as attractive as the guy with the six-pack, and the guy holding it is just the middleman that they have to touch on sometimes to get it.
So for women, they're all coming out saying, I'm a 10. Why? Because they can have kids. So think about the evolutionary imperative here. A guy must produce resources to feed a family. A woman must be able to make the family. I'm not saying it's the way it should be, but that's the way it's been. Now it's changing with certain social dynamics for sure. But then what ends up happening is when it comes starting a family, you need a woman who can have children. So they're like, I'm a 10. Why? Because I got a fat ass, she says. It's like the reality is they think they're 10s because they have the ability to reproduce. That puts their evolutionary value at 10. Then you get a guy. And it's like, how much can you provide to make a family? And it's like, that matters. So guys are like, I don't know, 6, 7. They don't actually think as much about your ability to generate wealth. That's why intelligence goes a long way.
What Tim gets wrong here is that most of them don't think they're 10s because they can have kids. Most of them don't want kids, or if they do, it's 10 years later. So are they thinking they're 10s because they can have kids in 10 years? The reason they think they are all 10s is to get rid of any hierarchical placements that we put on them. It really is smash the patriarchy with her fupas. That's why they're all claiming they're 10s. Because if they are all 10s, they can all claim the top tier guys. And why they don't feel they need to settle with the lower tier guys. It has nothing to do with being able to have kids. Because if that was true, most of them would be getting married at 22. Not riding the carousel till 32. And then waiting for the rich cleanup man to sweep up the ready-made family that she had with the Chad. These women aren't ranking themselves 10s just because they can have kids. That's some 1882 logic. They base themselves 10s really because they have a fat ass or other intangibles like I can love/inspire you like no other, or other useless things like degrees. Being able to incubate a family for the guy she's about to marry isn't a prerequisite anymore, because 9 times out of 10 she already has one, but she just needs a rich dummy like you to provide the rest, because usually the guy providing the genetics can't provide the provisions. Tim's still living like we're in 1980 under those relationship dynamics, when women really want to live either like a bachelor or piece it together like genetics from this guy or money from that guy. They aren't interested in the old nuclear family deal. And people who think like Tim are the ones going to get caught up marrying single moms or used up 304s that are now done with their bachelorette phase and ready to settle down. Either way, getting a family out of either one of these women will be quite expensive. So no, Tim, they aren't ranking themselves 10s based on how breedable they are. It's based on how much attention and dude she can get to sleep with her. And when that's basically every dude, it throws out the old rating system that men had for them. Men today are too weak and simply to uphold that standard anyways. So these would be the new qualifications for a woman to be a 10. And if you're not that ultra Chad, your best bet is to go overseas where they still sort of uphold that old standard, or wait and build up your money so you can sweep up the ran through women when they are done having their fun.